Hey everyone, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio. Today's exercise is called the butcher's block. I'm sure it's got some other names, I don't know them. But it's a common exercise given for thoracic extension. This is a little bit more about why maybe it wouldn't be a go-to for building thoracic extension, particularly because of the muscles that are challenged. If you have thoracic extension, this might be an exercise to help improve that end range, but it wouldn't be necessarily something that you go to try and achieve thoracic extension. So if you're kind of a bit unsure about this exercise, you've heard about it, or maybe you want to build some extension through the lumbar spine or through your shoulders, then this would be a good video for you. So let's just demonstrate the exercise first. If you haven't seen it before, you've got a little bit of context. And then we'll go over some of the ins and outs of it. Still a great exercise, just not maybe something you do for thoracic extension, as we were talking about in the intro. Basically, you can have a bench. It's at about your hip height, but if it was higher up, that would be okay too. It would just be a little bit easier. You wouldn't necessarily need to go lower, but you could. The idea, if you're going to add more difficulty to it, is that you would move onto something heavier. So for example, I've got a stick, a dowel, but then also I have a bar over here, which is, I don't know, maybe about 5 kilos. Okay, so you're going to come elbows here, knees back, and I'm going to go down this way. So it's like I'm trying to bring my chest towards the ground. And then you're going to start moving your hands to touch your neck. And coming back up, and then back down. So you can be like, wow, I'm extending my thoracic spine. And that's true. The thing is, though, you have to have requisite flexibility in your lats to be able to get into the position for your thoracic spine. And part of the reason for that is that the lat attachment is onto the front of this humerus. So it gets stretched as I go overhead. This muscle stretches, but then it also connects down into my thoracolumbar fascia and my pelvis. And so muscles are going to act on joints that they cross, and particularly things that they cross directly over. And so the lat is coming down this way, down into here. So it's not really crossing up in between this shoulder blade area. And it acts more on the lumbar spine than it does the thoracic spine. So it's something that you need to think about with, if you're doing this and you're not feeling extension going on in here, you're feeling more of a lat stretch, then it's becoming a lat exercise, right? It's not necessarily something you'd work on for thoracic extension. So all I'm saying is that if you want to work on thoracic extension, there's better exercises for you, particularly probably starting with some of the supine exercises that we've got in some of our videos. If you want to work on lat flexibility, by all means. But the other interesting part is that you need some thoracic extension to be able to get into full overhead range. And so the question starts to become, well, chicken or the egg, what's first? Is it that I need thoracic extension so that I can allow my shoulder joint to get into end range? Or do I need shoulder flexibility to allow my thoracic spine to get into end range? I'd argue that it's the former, and you need the thoracic extension so that your shoulder blades can actually retract so that you can actually get into overhead range. If I go into a kyphosis, I'm demonstrating full glenohumeral flexibility here, right? I haven't got an overhead issue with my shoulder joint. What I have is an overhead issue with my thoracic spine. I need that extension so that my shoulder can actually get into this position up here. But can you see that it doesn't change when I flex my thoracic spine? So if you're struggling to get up top and you're trying to reach and you're down to overhead press and you feel like you have tight lats, consider that the lats might just be a symptom of restricted thoracic extension, meaning that the lats are a natural handbrake. And some people develop a hypermobility into extension, so they create excessive range through their glenohumeral joint because they're lacking it through their thoracic spine. And sometimes tightness is a symptom of the body trying to pull you back. It doesn't mean the muscle's short all the time. So just play around with what you're feeling and seeing, and maybe do this next to a mirror, take a video of yourself and just see what's actually moving. If I go down into this range, and I'll use the stick to show you, if I come down in this range, I'm going to flex my thoracic spine, so that's my upper back, and I'm going to extend my lower back. And now as I come down, can you see that if I don't extend my thoracic spine, what I'm actually feeling right now is a stretch into my left tricep, and that's about it really. If I extend my thoracic spine, now my hands can get down lower, and now what I'm feeling is more stretch through my abdomen and my tummy muscles and my pecs. Now that's going to be different for everyone, different qualities, but like I said, just consider what am I actually doing and why am I doing it. If I wanted to add some weight, same setup. Elbows there, scoot the knees back, a little bit of extension in the lower back. By shortening the lower back, I'm shortening the lats at one end, which means I can get some mobility at the other end. If my lumbar spine was flexed, then the muscle is having to lengthen both at the lumbar spine and also at the shoulders, and muscles that cross many joints don't really like to do that. So think about what you're doing and what the goals are, okay? So really nice exercise if you have the prerequisite flexibility, or you just need to be clear about what you're trying to do and achieve, okay? If you've got any questions on that, maybe how to figure out some lat stuff, we've got some shoulder series coming on later in the year, which this will probably show up in specifically for the shoulders. But in the meantime, maybe steer clear and work on the thoracic extension separately, okay? If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.